The sun started to set up the Arizona mountains, paint the sky and the ridge of the city. Small and easy the shelter and shiny fence with a sudden dog. The sharp smell hung out in the sky and mixed with the sound of a scattered. Jack was there and his sister, Emily, believed that dogs could help her with the problem of the next life. He was very confident, but it was far from his heart. Something encouraged him to take it. While walking in a narrow approach, he looked at all the houses. Some dogs bite the disease and feed their tails to attract attention. Only the only ones have seen him and covered their faces with pleasantness. However, none of them is like a specialized chat that is about Rex. He was just closer to abandon and served a job shelter. Mr. Reynolds, a German Shepherd after they are interested in you. He arrived in a few weeks before, but she was a little special. Jack looked up in surprise. A German Shepherd? Without talking a word, he followed a girl to a distant place. In a prison, lying in a wide corner, a big dog and black and brown hair. His position is difficult, but his eyes are very tired. However, Jack thought it was his heart and jumped faster. He knows the dog anywhere. Rex, he turned his voice. German Shepherdese wake up from his death and looked at Jack, but there was no feeling in his perspective and no attempts to approach. Looks like Jack forever. She didn't know me. Jack was involved in a step. He stumbled on his chest if something was broken in her. But then, look at Rex for a few seconds. One thing that has been understood, he was unable to submit this event. Jack and Rex have an emotional statement that just started. But what happens next? Do you want to search? So you have to be ready to support this journey and subscribe to the Rivers to avoid losing the continuity and relationship. Jack continued to stand in front of prison. Can't see more. Rex, a German Shepherd. He has gathered the force and decide as the dog he knows. His eyes were filled with life and was sorry. The anchor on his hind leg with one of his ears is a sign of a casualties, but it is more important than the dead, and his pain is more important. He went away many things, he said. He spake a little voice. He was found in a smaller shelter than other countries. He seems to have been sent by someone that could not handle it. He was suffering from anxiety and did not trust a simple person. He stood and watched Jack. Do you know her? Jack was quiet. His voice and the blasphemy came very well. She is my friend, my best friend. For a while he lost the wave of memories and training courses when they learned each other, at the same night the dog had lived, and where he was before Rex, and the dog knew who he was. The staff opens the prisoner. Rex looks at but did not move. Jack was slowly and put his arm. Hey friend, Jack. He stirred his voice but it was weak. Rex rubbed his head, as if trying to understand, but it remained silent and muscles were difficult. Jack was disturbed in his throat. He knows that this is not better. Would you like to have a chance to have it? We can tell him in the game page, advised the employee, trying to be easily worried about the wind. Jack was attacked with no surprise. On the page, the situation is not different. Rex took the distance, the wind air but avoided the right interaction. Jack see all moves, trying to know the dog's situations. The sun shines down the bar, and then Jack decides. He saw the worker's employee, and the story could talk hard. I took him home. No longer I will answer him. It is a decision in her language. The truth, they join the past. He knows like Rex, and save this is the beginning for each two. The trip to Jack's house was marked by silence. Rex is behind the truck and rests on the blanket that Jack fixed for him. German Shepherd keeps his eyes on the window, avoiding eye contact. Jack examined the mirror after time to time, trying to describe what the dog's mind was. It is difficult to not be affected, but he knows, like a market, holding the stress that acts on their way. When they came to the village, Jack took the entrance to his small items on the countryside. The house is lightweight, surrounded by the big floor and the number of trees, and quickly travels in the air. He opened the truck count as Rex, but the dog was troubled. After a few seconds, he resigned and cared for her heart. All careful moves, as if the nature of the environment continues. Jack led Rex to the front door and opened. "And he said unto thy new house, O son," and trying to be saved, even though his voice knoweth not. Rex was involved but immediately stood at the entrance and smelled the wind and care. It's like a suspicion, as if they are waiting for something unknown at any time. The decision to build a comfortable room, Jack has created a place in the corner of the living room with a new dog food and water bowl that he bought the way. "This is your place, Rex," he says, marks the corner. But the German Shepherd remained in its place, not to forget the guest request. In Jack, it will be sad to the balance. When Jack preparing something to eat, but she can't help but Rex fly to him, full of strength and honesty. The dog is now different from injury to Jack, who knew. He looked at Rex, who stands in one place looking at the distance. "I know your thoughts, friend. I have the same as me." That night, to open the bedroom, hoping that it would be good to stay near. But as he turned from the lamps, he heard the soft voice in the table. Rex didn't come to her, but on the side of the bedroom, to stay afar. Jack laughed in her in the dark. That is a small place, but for him, the beginning of the greater thing. The next day, Jack and the soft language of the footprints come from the road. Rex sat down to the door, the ear heard and thoroughly looked at her. For a while, Jack hoped, and hopefully, one could know that a dog's mind could be aware of the dog's mind. "Good morning, Rex," Jack said, stretched and persuaded the smile. But the German Shepherd will look just to go to the corner of the room. Determined to make their relationship with them, Jack spins to interact with Rex. He took a leash ball and put it to him, but didn't work. He placed a flower in her side, but Rex approached him after Jack left the room. All activities are very closely attracted to a cold morning. Jack thought the weight of anger, but he knew more than that. Fear, trust, maybe suffering. That afternoon, Jack decided to try something different. He won one of the old soldiers he kept in a closed house at the closet at the same time he took her on mission and Rex. He uses the scent of sand, sweat, and disasters. He was killed. "Let you see that you are mindful, boy," he said. "Hold the coat on the front position." Rex looked to a coat and curiosity. She was a slight head. For a while, Jack thought he was able to move his mind. He beat the coat on the ground and turned back and released the Rex room to approach. The German Shepherd captures the dress, which he pages his noses as he analyzed the smell. For a short time, his eyes lost to lose their weakness, but he returns and left with a small tail. In Jack, the idea of being gone. Living in that night, Jack was waiting for Jack lying on the back, and his eyes looked at the stars. "I didn't leave you. I didn't give you, as I speak of the air. You will never leave me if I need you, and I will not stop." He knew that he had a lot of proposal, but he knew the relationship between themselves and they would be buried under the departer. When the wind is cold, Jack decides to send the place he needs. He went into and opened the back door and went to bed. An hour later, the sound of the classes were collected, the floor raised. When the bed he saw the Rex lying and his eyes closed. Jack didn't mean something just in the dark. The distance between them is broken. It is a little, but it is enough to change his decision. In the next few days, the little time it started to crack on the walls of the steam and Rex. On the morning of Monday, Jack cuts the tree in the Ari, and Rex saw the distance from far and tear his head. German Shepherd is the guardian of his tail, but it's curious in his eyes. Jack stopped for a short time, and the sweat was cut off his forehead and visited Rex. "Want to help, baby?" he asked a funny language. Rex did not approach, but he never looked. In that day that traveled in the area, Jack took the tree and put it before, and had no hope. So what he marveled, Rex took more steps to the object and returned to the place where he was. Jack smiles. "Ah, you should remember to play. You just said to do." In addition to Rex's reply, Rex, so progress. On Tuesday, Jack decides to carry her walking. Rex's old ID signals are still stored, so Jack washed and attached to the new flag. "Come, the way," he said. "Rise up the rope." Rex was doubted at Jack opening from the door, looking out and the world outside the attack fence. However, with a gentle pulse, Jack established to go to him to go. At the time of the walk, Rex looked and continued to watch. He continued to catch the air and protect his body and seemed to be the worst that happens early. Jack is watching this, and clearly, "You don't like that, son. We are living here." He knew that the words did not mean to Rex, but he was hoped, in the course, the appearance of peace. When they went home, something suddenly happened. Jack took the Rex ropa while the dog was approached, pulled his hand. Jack continued. His heart was disturbed. "Even Rex," he complained, trying to not show much. He did not move when Rex inspected his smell for few seconds before leaving. For Jack, the small movement that is like a sign that something started in Rex to change. That night, when Jack prepares dinner, Rex laying on the cart on the kitchen. It's not a love request to love, but the bondage should be enough for Jack to think they are even right. He looked at Rex and mourned. "I think we are friends, huh?" Rex did not respond, but his eyes are less, and knowing that some people know who all the things are. Did you have a time to have a special relationship with animals, whether it is after difficult times? Submit in information. We are pleased to hear your excitement. A morning. The flower covered with a curtain. Jack was woke up before, and he was always, but Rex found that staying with the room window. The German shepherd, as if it is lost in mind. Jack approached, thinking about interactions with dogs was a test for a patient. "Remembering something, baby?" he asked, though he knew he could not receive answers. After breakfast, Jack decided to bring something special for the day. From the back of the cart, he pulled a new wooden box full of what he was protected from his or her responsibility. In the islands, the photos and letters are toys, which is loved in the field. Jack took over a short time and holds the weight of the memories. Then he went to the area where Hex lived and put the ball to the land with the dog. Rex looked to the ball and stirred his body. He was watered the wind, as the object carried the smell that was buried to something burying his memory. For a few seconds, it seems to forget, but then she went on. He will beat the ball before stepping backwards. Jack looked at silence and listening to Rex war. "Do you remember this knot?" he asked near prayer. That same day, something is different. At lunch, Rex was still near Jack, which follows all moves. For the first time, he took food out of his hand. Jack can't believe what he had seen, but he took care of his feelings. German Shepherd will eat, keep his eyes on Jack, and when he began to trust him. Then Jack was sitting with the floor and the ball in his hand and turned between his fingers. "Remember to bring you this thing in the middle of the night because you don't sleep?" He comforted and remembers how Rex used the game even when it was time. "I think I'm old. I think." Jack sent the ball from reporting the page, not expecting to answer. So what he marveled, the dog encouraged his ears and followed the ball and his eyes when he was caught. That night Rex was in Jack's bed. Veterans found the distance between them and went down. It's not the body's body of deep. They took two in their own pain, but now they were starting to express a heavy part. Before turning down the lights, Jack looked at Rex, said, "We were almost always. 2. We recently arrived. The sun was shining that morning and spread the light to the mainland while Jack prepares for another day, and Rex. He has decided to try something new to one of the old training activities that usually work on the battlefield. By the paragraph hanging in his neck and rope in the hand, Jack hopes the action that is to do something in the process of Rex. Be a lazy boy, he says. Jack speaks while walking in the middle of the floor. Rex follows the safest distance, and his eyes focus on each subject. Jack was sentence dated and gave a simple command: stay down. For a short time, Rex remained silent, but Jack was amazed. His body was down and stayed. Good son, Jack calls, a wonderful and impressive mixture of its language. Then Jack took the rubber ball and just cast. Remove, Rex, he calls, trying to restore the front force. Rex is broken and viewed the ball as if it is judging his choice. Jack stood up and waited patiently. After a few seconds, Rex took some steps to the ball and looked at Jack and stopped his mouth. The cold to Jack's spine. You're doing, son. When Rex travels with a ball, something is not dead. He sent the matter on Jack's legs and looked at her, looking at the form of Jack and never seen years. It is also a result of revelation, as if the chairman of the German has remembrance of the woman. Vertinia looked at her eyes, but he would survive. He didn't like to scare Rex and his feelings, but his calm was still. He was not willing to scare Rex and his feelings. The time indicates the rotation place. For the rest of the day, Rex looks to the nearest, followed by Jack around the house and release the little movement of love. Jack sitting on the sofa, and Rex lay on the floor alongside him and did not do it before. It is not a normal training or object. As it is small, his guardian is small and returns Jack. That night, when Jack prepares his goods, he found a long photo about the field, on the day they solve a hard mission. In the picture, it is both riot, but it is proud of their eyes. Jack sends a photo on the table next to the bed and shows the Rex. See this, son. We made a group, or not? Rex saw photographs for a few seconds before lies along the Jack near the home entrance. The sound of the gunker is very chopped in gray air in the rain when it rains the back of Jack. He looked and looked at Rex standing with the floor, and his nose appeared to the sight. As the dog is in the world, happiness with a dance lamp and shower, Jack holding a cup of coffee and close. You still love the storm, remember? He spoke to himself, grew more. Rex changed and met his eyes to Jack for the first time in a few weeks. It's different in that kind. It is not always a prohibit that cannot be separated. It's a doubt, yes, but the pleasure of curiosity is a small signal in Rex's modification. The heart was quickly accepted. He knew that the way to go, but it was as long as he was able to go. Decided to take it, Jack walked to the cabinet and won the old military galleries and other items from his work. He knew that it was a disease, but it was possible that a simple language can trigger any type of response from Rex. Returned to the floor, Jack sends 2 short shots in the passage and seemed to have a mission to come back to his side. German Shepherd turns, and his ears stood. For a short time, Jack almost believed that Rex runs to her before. However, Rex retained one embarrassment to Jack before rest. The stone in his eyes and dissolved and replaced by the shadow of doubt. He gave his head, as if he fight against it. Jack was very strong in removing the skin. He didn't want to force Rex to save memories that would be very painful. It's good, his colleague, he said in excuse. We go with your speed. So when the rain rains, Jack became ready to dry blanket and a new water bowl for Rex. He placed things in the corner of the room, but this time was chosen not to push. He sits on the floor near the dog, but not really closed there. The way is to show that alone. With the morning, Rex started to rest, lying on the orange and looked short of the Jack. At night falling, Rex works a surprise. He approached and his breath was mourning to silence. He stopped in the inches from Jack, remained silent, for a dog's place. Rex was vaccinated by the wind around the military, as if he was confident in doing something. He was strong. Then, then hit Jack's hand with his nose. The only city was living for a short time, but Jack's heart had a lot. "You have returned to me, son," Jack's cry, and his voice is thick. He did not attempt to hold Rex, and know that sudden movements can destroy very difficult times. He then stood there. The dog could fix the steps. Finally, Rex ended. Jack see the wave of salvation and hope. He was a small victory, but for him, he brought the weight of the line. That night, when the storm was in the outside, Jack Rex can see laying on the foot of his bed. The dog was not very few, but he did not find him before. For Jack, all that is necessary to be confirmed, even if all the troubles and suffering between themselves is still in the same. The sun shines in the morning and put the golden moon on the floor. Jack is on the floor, a cup of coffee in hand, by watching the Rex going across the forest grass. It's different for that morning. Rex moves are not very difficult, and for a while, the hardwood dog seems to be the same as the most memorable of Mitra Jack. Meeting to continue to move forward when Jack will take a long time and take his hand. It's a bad test, but he knew he should try. Jack sent 2 short whistles in the night before. At this time, Rex raised his head nearly. Its ears are righteous, and all her body shall look. Jack is calm, does not show signs of magnitude or expectations. "Come, son," he despised the encouragement. Why, he wondered. Rex had many steps to him, and his eyes looked at the scourge. The veteran was hit the throat from his throat, while saw the German shepherd at the end and was almost confident. Rex stands in front of Jack, air, as if they are looking for a foolish thing. Jack, with slow moves, take the rubber ball he used before. He kept it before Rex for a while, then put it to the side. For a short time, the dog stands, but something different from his situation. Due to a sudden spread of strength, and Rex after the ball will bring it to Jack's legs. Veteran was standing up and saw the tears. There is limited simple tasks, but the most effective is the beginning of Rex to defeat his ways. It's all his friend. "I know that you are still there," Jack says. He was talking about his voice. He was also taken the ball, and the movement and the present. Rex quickly fled, and his tail was less than his return. The progress is nearly as well as a week. The patient's weekend has come out of the patient. For Jack, the steps taken by Rex is victory to the 2 problem. That night, for the first time since Rex arrives, he touched Jack at the sofa, and his head was on the side of military. Jack didn't try to talk or move. He will be there, letting silence or just talking. This is the time for restarting the trust that starts to get back. When Rex's head was soaked, Jack knew that he would never give up with a friend he had not saved his life. That morning begins the sound of birds in the area, but in the house, something happened. Rex is in the middle of the room, and he will always look on Jack, holding the rope with a single hand, and military soldiers from another. "Today is a great day, friend," Jack and the smile. He has decided to bring the Rex to a specific area of the cultivation that is closest to work on the holiday from training. This is the last exam, the opportunity to see the distance they came. On the way to the floor, Rex looks better than before. She sat in the back seat of the truck and his head climbed to the open window to allow the wind from his face. Jack watched in the mirror later and reacts to the mix of pride and help. For weeks, he insisted to return a dog that is important to her, and now this looks like this. "Like the past, huh?" Jack asks. You do not expect a response. When arriving at the park, Jack took the Rex rope and caught the rubber ball. The German Shepherd will stand silent for a while and filtering the environment. But for a few years he sailed to the ball when Jack was driven. They lived in 2 hours as if it was not until the time with the trauma. Jack was thinking that Rex was a dog he knew, but at that time, when it was turned away, not as before, but it's not possible that they can't build a new one. In the evening the sun hit and Jack sit on one of the park and took him off his head on the owner's feet. Jack looked at the bar, in the form of peace that flooding his chest. "I told you that I didn't give up, Rex," he was talking about, and the dog was slowly. For the first time for the years, Jack as part of each recalled. Rex is not the only dog. He represents all the things they lived and fell. When they returned home that night, Jack knew that the descendant, although not sure, it would happen to his colleague. Rex, with his honesty and courage, he has found the way to Jack's heart. By Jack, while studied, it was learned that the patient, love, and decision relieves deep wounds. They have already been ready to have the next meeting together. If this story refers to your heart, please leave to support and forget to subscribe to the streets to hear such a story. Your presence is very different.